Welcome back to Mindful Musings podcast. I'm here with my co-host Linda Brooke. My name is Barbara Mackenzie, and Linda's shuffling her deck right now. Linda, what inspirational source are we using today?
We're using the reflection cards from the Virtues Project.
Wonderful. And you can find those at virtuesmatter.com if you're looking for the electronic app version. Awesome resource. There you go. Free plug for virtuesmatter.com because we love them.
And the Virtues Project if you want the hard copies.
Yes, of course, the physical cards, which is what Linda is shaking right now. So Linda's going to choose a card, and we are just waiting to set an intention, which I'd just like to welcome everybody back today and to center. And I'd like to hear what all of us needs to hear the most in order to keep us holding strong from a center of trust when everything is so chaotic. That's what I'd like our intention to be today. What will hold us to center? So Linda's not going to pick a card by looking through the deck and choosing what one she wants. This is a random pick where she's actually staring at the camera and pulling the card out. Did you pick it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All for you.
The card that I picked is Beauty.
Wow.
Beauty is a sense of wonder and reverence for the harmony, color, and loveliness of the world. Beauty opens us to the deep patterns of life that inform and delight us. It allows us to feed our connectedness with all creation. It calls us to look beyond superficial appearance to appreciate the gifts in each person. Our creativity brings forth beauty in music, art, dance, and language. We practice beauty by creating a space of grace and order around us. We can reflect beauty in the way we dress, move, and speak. Living beautifully is a unique expression of our divine nature. When I turn the card over, the quote on the back is by D.H. Lawrence. The human soul needs actual beauty more than bread. And then the practice of beauty. I spend time in the beauty of nature. I am inspired by the mysteries of life. I look for the good within everyone. I express my own creativity. I create a space of beauty and order around me. I speak and act graciously. I am thankful for the gift of beauty. It nourishes my soul.
Wow. Wow.
How is that speaking to you today, Barbara?
I'm pretty wowed. Beauty is where the now is, I believe. Beauty is where our attention can divert from worry and chaos and the gremlins that run around in your head. It just stops everything in its track when you can focus on the beauty of even little simple, the tiniest little things, the beauty of the spider sitting on the wall. Like, it can be the simplest things. We don't need grandiose, we don't need wealth, monetary wealth to have beauty around us. And beauty also is within us. And so I think that's one of the things that the card talks about, that you know, we've missed the boat on a little bit. You know, we've sort of identified the word beauty with appearance and with uh, economic vices. I don't know how else to term it. So for me, and Linda, somewhere when you go onto Facebook, if you haven't been there already, I believe I tagged you on a Mike Dooley post, his live today. And I said, I quoted, but I didn't know it was D.H. Lawrence. But I said, beauty is, read the quote, please, again.
The human soul needs actual beauty more than bread.
I think I said something like, we need beauty more than bread, or something like that is what. So it was anyway. So I think it was you I tagged. Look for it, and I'll look for it too, because that's the kind of wow, I'm just synchronicity. This is grace speaking in response to the intention, because beauty is where our attention needs to go. Imagination, awe, beauty, all of those things are sort of very tightly woven together. And while we're in this crazy, crazy time, we can do one of two things. We can either choose to worry, fret, let that angst get into our vibration in a negative way, or we focus on beauty, imagination, creativity, awe, and we take beauty to the next level within us and around us, within our awareness, within our words, within our wisdoms, within our wanderings, within our wandering, and within our woeing, like even in our sadness. It's so what they're saying about processing trauma is that create a circle of caring around you so that you can be real with your stuff. You can witness your own stuff. And in that, what the Virtues Project brings is the reframing and the ability to turn that into beauty. So to be able to take all that and reframe it into beauty. And that's what we aim to do too. With this podcast, and with every conversation we have, and every course that we offer, and every service that we provide. So for me, I'm wowed, completely wowed by the synchronicity showing up so quickly. I just posted, like literally within the hour, this quote about beauty and bread being more important than bread. Yeah. So I'm excited. I love this. I love it. So thank you.
Well, you're very welcome. And I acknowledge the joyful enthusiasm for beauty today, and the discernment that it's more of an inside job to be able to recognize beauty and appreciate the inner beauty in things, the working of things, more than the external appearances.
Thank you, Linda.
You're welcome.
So how about you? What's standing out for you today in terms of our intention?
Yeah. Well, for me, it's beauty opens us to the deep patterns of life that inform and delight us. So and that allows us to feel our connectedness with all creation. So I was joking with you the other day that I have come to an age and a stage in life where, they refer to it as being in our dotage. I'm going on 70, approaching my dotage. And yet it's, I reframed it as I'm reaching the stage where I'm the age where I'm connecting the dots. And that's recognizing some of these deep patterns of life. And it is delighting me as I am recognizing them. And it is informing my understandings and appreciation for all that has transpired in my life. At the time, there were many things that were very stressful, things that were traumatic, starting right at birth. And they created an energies within me, and that influenced how I responded to the world, reacted to things in the world, often reacted more than responded, because I wasn't conscious of the internal patterns that I was set up for just by life circumstances. So again, it's not to shame or blame anyone or anything for what happened. It just is. And I think that happens with everyone somehow or another. We have these experiences that adjust what happens to us inside. So I think that it's really important to find ways to become aware and informed of what's going on internally. And certainly these reflections that we do together has been one of the tools. Barbara and I, Barbara, we've been in that group where we do what we call a How Are You Really call. And we do it every 2 weeks with a group of people that we've been doing it for over 10 years now, once every 2 weeks. And to see how we have all grown by having created this space where we can reflect on everything that's going on in our lives as individuals. It's a place to share where the other people just listen and hear us. So we're heard, we're given an acknowledgement, of what people hear in what we're saying. And it's just so helpful in learning to inform us and appreciate the gifts within each of our experiences, and to see how we've all grown over the years, and how we may not be going through the same thing at the same time, but sooner or later over that 10 years, it seems that we all end up in similar spaces and places and situations in terms of what's happening internally and the processing of that. So, not always the same external situations or circumstances, but the internal processing and patterns. So that's, so a space of grace and order that we have created in this weekly or bi-weekly thing that we get together with. And the beauty in music, art, dance, and language. Appreciating that is awesome. And, for me, for many years, I was a spectator in appreciating the beauty in music, art, dance, and language. And, you know, okay, I danced when I was younger a lot, as a teenager and what have you, but I didn't consider myself particularly creative in art, drawing, and painting. Or music. You know, I can listen to music, but I don't play, and I'm not a great singer, but I enjoy singing. So I've learned to let go of the appearances and that need for perfectionism, and to just enjoy the process. And that has been really, really helpful, a helpful practice for helping me appreciate and strengthen that sense of wonder and reverence for the harmony, color, and loveliness of the world. And spending time in nature is really important to me. I really find it inspiring for me to live near the water, to be near the water. And for other people, it's being in the mountains or being on the desert, being in the desert. So it's not the same for everybody, but find your place and space where nature inspires you and allows you to ponder, muse on the mysteries of life. And looking for the good within everyone, that one really speaks to me right now, because we're in this climate, in this culture of really negative shame, blame, finger pointing, bad mouthing people back and forth on the public stage, on the public arena. And it's almost like we've taken schoolyard bullying to a new level in adulthood, which is, to me, absolutely insane. It's like we're acting like we're 5 and fighting. I don't know. Anyway, you know, very early stages of learning how to have rational debate. We've gone way back down to childhood level of debate, just in name calling and what have you. And so to look for the good within everyone is, there are some people out there who are doing that, who are modeling something different for us, that give us the opportunity to see informed, rational expressions of opinions, and so that we can independently investigate the truth for ourselves rather than be reacting to emotional outbursts and that really don't inform the actual context or content. They create a context that has nothing to do with what's important. So I just, I think that comment, I look for the good within everyone, and sometimes it's hard to see because the external appearances of behaviors are such that we're distracted by all of that and not able to get to recognize that there is good within everyone. Sometimes we just have to look really hard beyond all the external noise and chaos that they're creating with their behavior. So, yeah, I create a space of beauty and order around me. I do. Mine is different than other people's because the things that are important to me right now are not necessarily lots of what I used to call tchotchkes in my life, all the little decorative ornamental things. I don't have as much of that as I did. The things, part of what's beauty for me is that it has practical use as well. So I've collected art supplies, and my space is set up so that I can create. And more than having wonderful lounging spaces and places, because I just have a small apartment. So yeah, so I am thankful for the gift of beauty it does nourish my soul. It has nourished my soul. And I'm so grateful that I have reached an age and stage where I actually can appreciate beauty, that I can see it and acknowledge it. Because when I was younger, I was just too busy doing, and running to really be aware of the beauty around me. So to stop and smell the roses, as they say. I would stop sometimes, but I wasn't smelling any roses. I was just shut down and shut in. So internally, yeah. So thank you. That's a lot that I said about beauty. Right. Thank you.
Thank you. I was really hearing your deep perceptiveness to see all the layers of social health, let's call it. Yeah, and your discernment to be able to sort of clean out what you're thinking on every level. And I know, like, because I know you and because we spend so much time, you know, diving deep, I really I am the very grateful. I am the very grateful inheritor of the dotage that you referred to. And so your perceptiveness and your discernment help you to be able to connect all those dots and help me connect dots too. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Barbara.
So Linda, what's been meaningful about our pick today, about beauty today?
Well, for me, what's been meaningful is how this focus on beauty and the sense of wonder and reverence for the harmony, color, and loveliness of the world, how that helps to center and ground me, and how powerfully it does when I stop long enough to appreciate that, when I take the time and I'm purposeful about creating time and spaces and places to do that, and how easily it is to forget. So I'm very grateful that we spend the time together doing this, and some of the other activities that I'm involved in, because I think that it's been very, very helpful in me being able to own all of who I am and all of my life experience. And it helps keep me in a place where I can hold on to all of it appropriately and let go of the things I need to let go of more easily. So yeah, the power it has to help center and keep me, well, I say grounded on one hand, but also free. It's that paradox. At the same time it's grounding, it's also very freeing and opens me up to living more beautifully and expressing my unique expression of my divine nature. So thank you. That's what's meaningful for me. What about you, Barbara? What's meaningful?
I'm just really identifying with your sense of sacred independence, Linda.
Yeah.
And I had the visual of a flower, you know, the grounding being very rooted and the flower being the opening up, the blossoming.
That's visual.
It's beautiful. What was meaningful for me today, I think, is the synchronicity part of it. And it's a grounding too. You know, when you said grounding, I was like, oh yeah, that's for me too. And where your grounding is in the opening up into the living. I feel like what I'm appreciating about our conversation today is the grounding in the sacred, in the opening up. So your grounding, let's say, is an energy that is vertical, and I'm feeling the energy that's sacred. It's like this is body, this is soul, kind of
To the
sense.
horizontal.
The horizontal,
Okay.
the vertical and the horizontal. And so, you know, I'm also feeling really grounded in understanding how I can remain still in my heart, in my soul, in my being, how beauty helps me to not just beauty triggering awe, wonder, joy, all of the other dimensions of creativity as well. Opens me up too, but in a different light. It opens, I feel more open to the connections of the divine. But I also feel your groundedness in opening up to the connections of life and this reality. So today I'm just really experiencing the juxtaposition, the beauty of that juxtaposition within us. And I literally am feeling it in my heart, and I'm feeling it in my eyes, like I'm welling up. It just, I'm feeling the emotion surfacing. And it feels like recognition and acknowledgement and internal, like just, ooh, yeah, warmth and just lovely recognition and acceptance. I'm just sort of feeling an inner acknowledgement for what I'm saying right now. So, yeah, I'm all goosebumps. Thank you.
Wow. Well, I'm really seeing, because we have the camera here, so I can actually see as Barbara's talking, the incredible depth with which this has spoken to you, and how powerfully meaningful it is to you to have that awareness of the important juxtaposition of the living now, in the now, on the material, and having the horizontal effects of the spirit, and that the spirit is really moving you right now,
Yeah.
very deeply. So
Yeah, thank you.
yeah.
And I see it more linear and lateral than I do horizontal and vertical. Just saying. I don't know why.
Okay. Well, I was trying to
Just the
describe
words.
how you
No,
were
I'm
holding up
just,
your hands. Yeah.
I know, and I was using the other words too, but you know, now that I'm thinking it, it's lateral and linear that I'm
Okay.
feeling. Anyway, thank you.
So the different dimensions is yeah, being aware of different dimensions, and probably more than just two.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of the beauty of what's going on in the world today too, is that we're creating bridges between worlds. And in so many ways, you know, beauty is a vehicle that helps us to get there. So in everything we do, may beauty abound and surround and impound. Thank you so much for your time and beautiful attention today, Linda, and our audience. If you're interested in the group that Linda mentioned earlier, we are developing one for public use and your private use. If you have a group of friends that you'd like to gather together for a circle, let us know. And we're starting up the How Are You Really circles coming in the fall and over into the 2021 calendar year. So thanks for being here and take good care.
Bye. Be well.